Salut YouTube, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, my name is Rosie and I'm a New Zealander living in France. And today I wanted to do a video on the 20 English words that I hear used incorrectly in the French language from time to time. And despite the best efforts of l'Académie Française, who are the official body in charge of monitoring and regulating the French language worldwide, those English words just keep on creeping on in there, especially amongst the youth of today. Whoa, old lady much? The youth of today. And it's not surprising in this globalized world with the exposure to pop culture and the rise of modern technology that words like selfie are being used instead of ego portrait, or the word hashtag is being used instead of mot dièse. And sometimes even the Frenchiest words of all are getting replaced by their English equivalents. For example, savoir-faire is often replaced now as know-how, or if you say it with a French accent, I guess it's like know-how. But what about those times when it's English gone wrong? Pseudo-anglicisms do exist in French. These are kind of loan words from the English language which have developed and evolved over time to mean something different to their original meaning. I've heard my fair share of these bad boys over the past few years, so today I thought it could be quite fun to go through those together, some anglicisms and English words used in the French language. So you ready? On you go! The first anglicism I wanted to touch on is le footing. And so you can tell by the root of the word that it has something to do with feet. In French it means running or jogging. And maybe you ask, okay, well what about the word jogging? Where did that go? Well, sometimes French people do use the word jogging in its original sense as well, but un jogging is also the word for tracksuit. So this is my second anglicism, un jogging for the word tracksuit. So you put on your jogging to go footing. French logic. The third English word that I had in mind that they use is la boxe. And la boxe does not mean a box, it means an internet modem. And I think this kind of came into the modern language from a big telco company over here, where they started advertising their modem and telephone deals as la boxe plus téléphone. So it was kind of part of a marketing campaign, I think, and now it's stuck. The fourth word I wanted to call out is le parking or unparking. And this one's actually got a very similar meaning, but what it means by a parking is actually a parking lot or a parking space in which you park your car, or a parking building. When you've got a French person speaking English to you, that often means that they say that they've left their car in the parking. So it's just a bit funny. You'll often find with these anglicisms, they've kind of taken the root of an English word and just added ing to the end of it to make it their own franglais version of the word. Number 5, and this is an anglicism that I love, is when you have a facelift or some sort of extensive cosmetic surgery, you have a lifting. Obviously in English, if we said that someone had a lifting, you would kind of imagine maybe like a helicopter coming to pick someone up in an emergency situation and lift them out of the situation. That's the closest thing that I could think of to the word a lifting. Number 6 is super cute, and it is the French word for a pinball machine, because I suppose you do have the little flippers that you use within the pinball machine when you're playing. But yeah, they call this un flipper or le flipper. Whereas we obviously call it a pinball machine. Speaking of gaming, the French word for table football, or foosball as we call it, is baby foot. And I don't know about you guys, but the imagery that comes to my mind when I hear baby foot is none other than the foot of a small baby. Anglicism number 8 is in regards to a makeover. So whether you make over your home or a person, the French word for this, well, the anglicized franglais word for this is un re-looking, which makes quite logical sense, taking the word look or the way something looks, adding re to it, a re-look, and then adding the famous ing, a re-looking. Anglicism number 9 is unsmoking, and this has nothing to do with cigarettes or smoking. This is the word for a tuxedo. Number 10, I really like the sound of this word, is zapping. In French, zapping doesn't mean to taser someone or to zap someone. It means to channel surf. Number 11 is a word that's spelt as if it were the word shampooing. So shampoo, ing, but it's pronounced like shampoing or something to that effect. And it means two things. It means both the product, so shampooing means shampoo, and when you go to the hairdresser to get your hair washed, you also ask for a shampoing. But it's kind of funny that the word for shampoo is shampooing, which is a verb. Number 12 is the French word le dressing, which doesn't exactly mean getting dressed. It really refers to the actual walk-in wardrobe or a space in which you get dressed. So for us, I guess that would be a dressing room. Number 13 relates to sports in general because there are loads of anglicisms in sports, as I'm sure you can imagine. But I'm just going to give you a little taster. Un ring is actually a boxing ring. Un golf is actually a golf course. A goal is actually a goalkeeper. You say des rollers for roller skates. And un surf for a surfboard. Number 14 is quite similar in meaning. It is le building, so referring to a building, but it's not just any kind of building. Like for us, we can describe building in a kind of meta sense, and we could mean a house, a skyrise, etc. In French, when you say le building, you're really only referring to modern skyscrapers, big office blocks, this kind of modern construction. So it's a very specific type of building, but it's not every building. Number 15 is kind of something I've noticed around the sense of activities, where the activity itself becomes the noun. Le camping, or a camping, is actually a campsite. And le dancing, or the dancing, is actually a dance hall. So the verb, or actually doing the activity, actually becomes the name for the site itself. Number 16 is a modern addition to the French dictionary, which is le fooding. And le fooding simply means beautiful cuisine or the art of cooking and eating well. But of course in English we don't say the fooding for that, like, oh, I'm going to go to university and study fooding. Number 17 is definitely a little bit more subtle, but French people use the word le planning to talk about timing, schedule, programming. So it's not just, you know, for us, okay, le planning, what's the planning, what's the plan? They also kind of mean it more in a diary sense, like I need to look at my planning instead of my agenda, my schedule. So that's another one as well that's snuck on in there. Number 18 is the word for blow dry, so when you use your blow dryer to blow dry your hair. And the French word for blow dry is like un brushing or a brushing, so it's more like brushing your hair. So it is similar, but I don't know why they don't just call it blow dry and not brushing, because they're kind of different things in the English language. Number 19, and again it's an anglicism where you can see where it came from, but the word for dry cleaners in France is pressing. So obviously there's a link there because the word pressing in English has to do with the old way you used to iron things. So you can imagine the housewives in the 50s saying, I will press your shirts this evening with the iron. But yeah, that kind of confused me when I first arrived because I was told to take things to a pressing, and I was like, no, I really need it dry cleaned because it's sensitive material. And they're like, yes, the pressing. And I was like, no, you can't iron this. Number 20 is le shooting, which when you're speaking in French actually means a photo shoot, which kind of works in context, I guess. Like you could say, oh, the model went to a shooting. But the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear a shooting is just straight away like, what, where, what happened, how many people were involved. Maybe it's just a reflection of the media these days, but that's the first thing that jumps to my head when I hear le shooting. So that's it for this video, guys. It's the first 20 done. I've got the next 20 coming next time. Please hit the subscribe button so that you get notified when that next video is out. And just token disclaimer, obviously I'm not making fun of French people using these words. It's just as a native English speaker, I picked up on them because I was like, oh, that's an English word. Hey, that doesn't mean what I think it means. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Have you heard any funny franglais expressions? What are your anglicisms that you use in your own language if you're not a native English speaker? And until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. À bientôt!